Hello, welcome to the Snap UK Pick podcast, the additional show we're now creating just to predict, hopefully, what is going to happen over this weekend. So this is just a test, but we're starting with week 10. But I'm here with Griff, or the Incredible Folk, and 4 Inches.
Due to the incredible lack of demand for additional content from the Snap UK, we satisfy that.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is the request. This is the show that nobody asked for, but we're still providing that need.
Are we now that clingy boyfriend who's forcing themselves on people a bit too much?
Yeah, I mean, this is effectively it's our choice. This is our attempt to be like Patrick Keelty, like he's everywhere, but nobody wants him.
Who the fuck wants to be Patrick Keelty?
I know.
I mean, essentially, we've created the STD of the Snap UK. You've had your fun with us, and this is what you ended up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
no one is near me with one of those scraper things. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we're each going to take our taking turns to pick who's going to win in the weekend games. We're going to tally it, and at the end of the season, we're going to see who is best at predicting this stuff. If it's anything
I will say, John, that you could just show people our fantasy football league, because that's a prediction of sorts, who you think will do well and which players will do. And I'm very clearly last, and almost last in the other league we do as well. So combined, I am like 4-68 this season or something. It's pretty terrible. It's bad.
Well, if it helps, we record our main show on a Tuesday night, and I kept getting interrupted this week with notifications from all my from all my fantasy football leagues about how much I was winning. It was great.
That does not help at all.
But we do the locks on a Tuesday, and it's gone so well lately that we've only just got to 50% as a team.
Doesn't work.
We have some members of the group who still have yet to get a correct prediction, Jim. But we're going to do them all now rather than just pick one. So we're going to start obviously with the Thursday night game, Friday morning game in the UK, which is Colts at Titans. Who wants to go first on this one?
I'm going to go first, and I'm going to say the Colts will win. Do you know why the Colts will win?
Why is that?
Because I said they just would.
It's good reasoning.
Yeah, I mean, fine. That's it. That's your analysis. You said they will win, so they will win.
So in terms of where we are, I think the Colts are on a bit of an upswing. We're beginning to see Rivers becoming a bit more comfortable in Indianapolis in regard to the scheme, in regard to the players. It felt a bit forced to begin with, and it didn't really seem like the right environment. I have my doubts about Philip Rivers, but I shan't get into that. I think the Titans appear to be on a bit of a downward slide for me. They don't really seem to have. They have great parts of defense, but they don't seem to have a defense. And although they've got lots of great individual parts, I just fancy the Colts more. They seem to be more on an upswing.
That
analysis?
I'll tell you why you're wrong. The Titans have a +10 turnover differential this season, which leads the NFL, and you know they're going to pick Philip Rivers probably twice, and that should be enough. Philip Rivers will have to be nearly perfect in this game to overcome what Derrick Henry will bring against a very good defense. And I don't think we've seen Philip Rivers be nearly perfect once this season. So I don't think it's that close. I think the Titans win this by a touchdown.
Well, I'm going to also go with the Colts as well, just because I see the defensive line doing enough to keep Derrick Henry at bay and also getting to Tannehill, especially with Lawan injured for the season. I think the Colts get a sneaky win on this one.
Oh, well,
But I think also with this, you've got to consider that the Titans' D-line hasn't been phenomenal.
no,
They get their turn. It hasn't been great. They get their turnovers from the secondary, don't they?
Yeah, which is where
Now-
Philip Rivers is weakest.
Yeah.
Again.
But if he's not getting pressured, he's got all the time in the world in the pocket. He can be.
I can't believe I'm about to do this based on our normal arguments, but Philip Rivers has only been sacked 7 times this season, which I think leads the NFL. It doesn't matter whether you pressure him or not; he will just go for the deep ball, even if it's not there. And that's what the Titans are really good at defending against. So that's why I'm going to be coming back laughing at you guys next week. Just saying.
Fair enough. That's why we're here. We want controversy. Okay.
Oh well, in that case, I think Trump should have won.
No, you don't. Don't even lie. We have Trump supporter. Well, we used to have Trump supporter fans. They all stopped after Jim wrote the article about why Trump is bad for the NFL.
Fair enough.
So next Sunday games, it's Texans going to the Browns.
Okay.
Texans have technically been going to the Browns all season. In theory, they've been
I was
awful.
just about to make the same joke. It's very much the same. Browns coming off a bye. I don't like it, but I'm taking the Browns to win. I think it'll be a close game. I think that the Texans are playing better, a lot better under Crennel, but there's just pieces missing. I think this could be a game where you see someone like Brandon Cooks get in right behind the Browns, notch up big points. We might get Nick Chubb back. If we do, I think that makes it an even easier game for the Browns. But it could be a bit of a shootout for me with these 2 young quarterbacks. There's still not a lot of experience there, but I think they'll both be going for it. The Texans are basically in win-everything mode. They've got nothing to lose. And the Browns' defense is great up front. It's a bit like the opposite to the Titans. Great up front, terrible at the back end, or certainly not good enough. And I think this is a bit of a shootout, this one. So I'll take the Browns in a close game. But, I think the Texans are not as talented and don't have enough pieces.
Oh.
I'm going to have to go with the Browns. I actually don't think it'll be that close. All right, the Browns are coming off a bye. Teams are usually not as strong when they're coming off the bye. They're lethargic, which is ironic, really, isn't it? But the Texans just seem all right, Crennel coming in is different to B.O.B., but for me, only because of what's happened with B.O.B., they're going to be DOA all season.
Fair enough. I'm going to go with the Browns.
You're a PIT.
I'm going with the Browns just because I think they'll
Consensus pick.
Yeah. So, Lions, Washington.
This week's Nobody Cares game.
I'm going to go first on this one because this was my lock on the podcast. I'm going for the football team to beat the Lions because
disagree totally.
Really, I'm also going for WFT to take down the Lions. I think this is the first Alex Smith win of the new season, and the Lions can't defend against running backs. Gibson may or may not be fit, but McKissick has a ridiculous number of receptions in the game that Alex Smith has played. And I just think if they can play out of the backfield with their running backs, the Lions have got nothing. They've got no Golladay. He's not going to be playing this week by the looks of things. And Stafford looks erratic when he doesn't have Golladay on the field.
Yep. I agree totally with that. So obviously, Paul, you're going with the Lions. It's nice we haven't got anything unanimous, although that might be about to change.
I tell you why I've gone for the Lions over the football team. Because I think the football team aren't very good.
That is true.
I just think within this, it's we need it to be simple, effective, and there's the parts that the Lions have are better.
I mean, yeah, the football team are at 2-6, whilst the Lions are flying high at 3-5.
But be fair, if you'd have told a Lions fan they'd be 3-5 after 8 games, some of them would have been very happy with that.
Do you not think in a game between two teams who, on paper at least, are reasonably well matched in terms of their results and pieces of their resources, I think coaching makes a difference, and Ron Rivera is clearly the better coach.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
So that's why I give the edge. I really genuinely think there's a lot to be said for what the Washington players take from playing alongside Alex Smith. You can't fail to be inspired as a player by that. I know he's not the same player. No one is saying he's the saviour of this franchise now, but we've all watched through clenched fingers across our eyes, but he is easily the best quarterback on this roster. So yeah. I'm just saying, like, they now got their best quarterback. I think their running back duo is very good. Terry McLaurin would go on any team in the NFL. So as long as the O-line can stand up, and the D-line is brilliant.
The D-line is incredible. Chase Young is superb. So yeah, I think they might get to Stafford quite a lot.
And Chase Young's going to be brilliant when he's traded to a team in 2 years.
Okay.
For me, whilst nothing you said is wrong, my head tells me to go for the Lions. I think they're the better team.
Nope, fair enough. Okay, Panthers hosting the Bucks.
That's unanimous. We're going for the Panthers. No, seriously, the Bucks are going to destroy them.
Yeah. Bucks are going to win. I mean, no McCaffrey. He's out this week, possibly back next week. Which, I mean, the replacement is doing a fine job, but they are so much better with him. It's not.
Mike Davis has been brilliant. The drop off wasn't as big as anyone thought it would be, but this is all about the Bucks/Brady revenge game. They're just not going to be prepared to lose this game. You'll see a lot more out of Mike Evans and Antonio Brown, I think. I think they'll play Evans in the slot a lot more, which makes him harder to cover. I cannot. Do you know Brady is 6-2 in his career after throwing 3 or more interceptions in a game? Like, he just doesn't lose consecutive games.
That's why I'm going. I mean, whoever they were playing to this weekend, I was going to say a Bucks win.
I will say, I think there's a very good chance that Teddy Bridgewater comes out of this game as the better quarterback.
Yeah.
Because I think this season he probably is the better quarterback. And he, his completion percentage is above 70%. He's averaging 268 passing yards a game. And he's only thrown, is it 2 or 3 interceptions all season? His touchdown to interception rate is excellent. His passer rating is above Brady's. I think he can easily be the better quarterback and end up on the losing side, because I think this Buccaneers defense is going to want to destroy and dominate this Panthers team. But I think it'll be close. 3 or 4 point game. Could come down to the kicking, really. Just, whichever team misses a PAT or something, that could be the loser.
Okay, we are going into the dumpster now. It's Giants hosting
we weren't doing that before with the Lions.
It's the dumpster is the NFC East versus the NFC East.
This is the part of the dumpster that's all full of that nasty liquid that builds up at the bottom of your wheelie bin. This is the stinky bin.
Yeah. Giants, Eagles.
Go on, John. What do you think?
Eagles. I just think they've got enough to beat the Giants. I think it'll be close, but I think the Eagles will have enough. Yeah.
Paul?
I'm a Giants fan. I have to go with the Giants.
And I'm not a Giants fan, but I am taking the Giants in this game. I think Joe Judge is slowly turning the corner. The defense is a lot better than it gets credit for. And Wentz is a turnover machine. So I think the Giants' defense wins it for them this week. That's a strange thing to say when Daniel Jones has also been a turnover machine. But I just think
he's had so many turnovers this season, he qualifies as a bakery.
Yeah, he does. I just think in a game of defensive, like who's going to put up the most points on defense, I think the Giants win it. Now, it could be like a pick six or a fumble recovery that wins it for the Giants. I'm really starting to have faith in this Giants defense. I think it's really going places.
Yeah. No, I hope so. I'm just maybe my own cynicism is why I can't pick them. Okay, this one might be a bit unanimous. Packers hosting the Jags.
Come on, the Jags.
London's favourite, London's own.
All right, so we're all taking the Packers, right?
Yes.
Yes.
But do we think Jake Luton has a chance of putting up decent numbers? The Packers' defense is good. It's good. It's not great, but it's good. But he clearly looks like one of these guys, a bit like Stafford of a few years past, who's just going to go out there and throw the ball regardless. Like, I'm either getting 35 yards of play or I'm getting sacked.
He looks like a bloke. Like, if you put us in, I think all you want to do is just throw the big play. And he's like a fan, and I love it. But it means
just like him because he's not Gardner Minshew.
I do. That's true.
That's all you care about. And I like him because my family's from Luton.
Exactly.
So I'll take that. Although my mum would have you believe she was born just outside London, but whatever.
Near St Albans. Yeah, and the Packers' run defense isn't great, and James Robinson might get some good yards.
They've allowed the most rushing touchdowns this season.
So,
So, combination of a willing downfield passer and a really good running back. This will be a closer game than it should be, but I still think the Packers probably have enough. The Devontae Adams and the running back situation, because Williams is back as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
I cannot see a scenario by which the Jags win, but I can see a scenario by which it's not a complete hammering.
I am going for the Pack to win this by at least 14 points.
Ooh. It is a hammering according to Fourth and Inches.
Okay.
I mean, this is so much of a hammering. It should come with a not safe for work logo before it.
This week's Pornhub pick is the Packers over the Jags. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Cardinals against the Bills in Arizona. This could be a good game, actually. I think this
will be a really good game. I think the Bills will win it. I think the Cardinals have been a bit one-dimensional. If it's not Kyler Murray, then they don't win. And I think this could be the game where he runs into enough of a defensive line to stop him. The Bills' secondary's not been great. So I think a bit like the game earlier, this could be a bit of a shootout, like I was saying about the Texans-Browns game. But I don't know. I'm not sold on any of the components on the Cardinals team beside the connection from Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins. And that on its own isn't enough. Josh Allen has the connection with Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, John Brown, who I think will be fit this week. I think he's got the option to spread it out and make it harder work for the Arizona defense.
I'm going to say the same. I like the Cardinals. I think we mentioned it on Tuesday. I think they were a lot of fun to watch. They're one of my favourite teams to watch, but I see them losing a tight game, a tight result. I think it will be quite a high-scoring game.
I'm going to go the complete opposite.
Go on.
The Cardinals to win 10-7.
I think the Cardinals are going to win 50 points to 2. No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I think the Cardinals will win this quite comfortably. I think the Bills are a great team, and I'd love to see. I think in another 18 months, another 2 years, 2 seasons, Bills could win the Super Bowl. I see them like the Alex Smith-led Chiefs. You could tell something good was happening. But I like the way the Cardinals play. I don't think the Buffalo defense is good enough to deal with that speed, that intensity. And also, DeAndre Hopkins is and Kyler Murray just such an X factor. And Buffalo is very functional, and I don't think functional deals very well with weird and fast.
Okay, well.
You've almost convinced me there, if I'm honest. I think that's a fair point. This was my favourite fact coming up about this game. Anyone want to tell me the last quarterback to make the Pro Bowl who was 5'10" or less?
No one.
There is one who has done it.
Doug Flutie.
Doug Flutie for the Bills, 1998. Kyler Murray is on course for a Pro Bowl selection. Well done, 4th and Inches. You do deserve a point for that.
Doug Flutie is always... So, from doing enough sport call quizzes in my time, Doug Flutie is always the go-to answer.
Whenever it's a height-related question, Doug Flutie.
Well, to be honest, if I need to pick a quarterback who's played somewhere, and I don't know who it is, try Johnson or Flutie.
Was Doug Flutie not also the last quarterback to score a free kick conversion, a drop kick conversion?
Yeah, for the
Patriots.
For the Patriots, yeah. Bill did it as a laugh, didn't he?
Yeah. And because Bill Belichick's famous for his sense of humour.
Yeah. Okay. Dolphins hosting the Chargers.
It's going to be a great game. It's going to be really... I don't know. I'm picking the Dolphins because I think the Chargers will keep finding ways to lose. But I'm just looking forward to the game. I think Tua versus Herbert is a great showdown. Neither defense is great. In fact, neither defense is probably even good this season. I just think the coaching is so much better on the Dolphins that they will win a tight game. So it's going to be a really good game.
I'm the same. I think the Dolphins win a tight game, as each Chargers game is. But yeah, I think it'd be great. Herbert, he's just been brilliant this year. Really have. Chargers no longer need to worry about their quarterback. They have their guy.
Their future's in safe hands once they find a coach.
Yeah. But yeah, the Dolphins, I think, will just have enough to beat them. 4th and Inches.
I am going to go with the following, that it just feels like they've brought in young Philip Rivers.
You mean young future Hall of Famer Philip Rivers?
They've brought in somebody who...
You mean he's crap in the clutch?
Yeah.
He's got 19 kids.
Young and full of spunk. But I really like this Miami team. I really think they've nailed the ship to Brian Flores.
Cool.
That's a horrible cliche. They've nailed the ship. They've nailed their flag to the mast of Brian Flores. Does that sound any better?
I don't think you want to nail your flag to anyone's mast. That sounds horrendous. That's got to be like a medieval punishment.
They've got behind Brian Flores and pumped him up? I don't know. Can I make it sound any better?
They're backing Brian Flores all the way.
Yes, I think it's a good thing that they are.
Fair enough.
Someone who... I'm going with the Dolphins by more than a score.
Ooh, that would be a change for the Chargers, at least. Okay, Raiders hosting the Broncos.
It's a Raiders win for me. I think the O-line just lets Derek Carr have time to pick apart this less than average secondary. And sooner or later, Drew Lock, who's been playing well recently, is going to come unstuck. And whilst the Raiders' defence isn't great, I think he'll be tempted into plays that probably aren't there for a player that's not as talented like him. And he could be a turnover-prone quarterback this week. So I'm steadfastly behind the Raiders in this one.
I'm really stuck because you never know. Because the Raiders are just, you never know with them, because they could be. They are both brilliant some weeks, and some weeks they're just so average it hurts. And I think they might be so average this week it hurts. And I'm just going to go with the Broncos, and I don't know why. 4th and Inches, what about yourself?
Raiders all day.
Okay.
You've got
I think going back to something Paul mentioned earlier, Henry Ruggs is the X factor here. I don't think the Broncos will cover him at all.
That's a good point.
AJ Boye is a spent force. And
Okay.
AJ Boye without Jalen Ramsey and without Doug Moore on.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
The same. So I think the Raiders are going to win this by more than 4 points.
Okay. We don't need to have the thing, but I'm glad you're going. I'm glad you're going there. Okay.
If you've asked me for a prediction, I'm going to be ridiculously specific. And John, 1 lineman of the Raiders will get injured.
Okay. Rams, Seahawks. This could be an absolute shootout. Paul, I'm going to go to you first.
The Seahawks are, in my opinion, a team that are on a downslide. They've had a very good start to the season. You take DK Metcalf out of that team. What's there? What's there that's new? What's there that's different?
Not different, but Tyler Lockett is very good. Chris Carson is back this week, I think.
Yeah, cool. That's a very functional running back. Now, there's one thing you're missing with this, which is Aaron Donald will eat Russell Wilson. He will swallow him whole.
I mean, you say I'm missing. I was also going to predict the Rams because my thought was that the Rams line will get to Russell Wilson, and I do think he'll have a very similar game to last week. But I think it could be a lot of fun, this.
I think Cooper Kupp against this Seahawks secondary, that's an all-day win for me. He's been pretty nigh on uncoverable this season anyway. And I just think with 2 quarterbacks primed to want to go after the secondaries, I think you've got to look at the line as well. And the Seahawks line hasn't been as bad as their secondary, but like you say, Aaron Donald will be crushing it up front. Russell Wilson's running for his life, and I think this could be 4 or 5 sacks for the Rams in this game. And it's going to look like the Seahawks are on a bit of a slide. They will right it.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that, but I think that this ties them after this game with the Rams. They'll both be 6-3 for me. And these teams are pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Everybody makes a point of, why isn't Russell Wilson ever MVP? Because of periods like he's had in the last few weeks. That's why.
But do you not think, and I don't know the answer to this, but do you not think that he's basically forced to play like that because the team is never that good? If you put him in half a dozen other teams in the NFL, he'd have been MVP already.
Oh, good.
But they make the playoffs every year, and he got to the Super Bowl twice.
Yeah. They did, and that's fine. But do you not think that in 90% of his season so far, he's been on a team that didn't deserve to have a quarterback that's talented?
He's gone on the downslide with them after the Super Bowl years.
Yeah.
They're clearly moving in the right direction, don't get me wrong. But the thing is, people only think of him on the good weeks, those weeks where he's running in the backfield, he's doing these great things, he's throwing these absolutely laser beam passes to Tyler Lockett. But there's some weeks where he's just utter shite.
He's not shite.
Hang on.
Okay.
Here's the thing, right? The Super Bowl season, they were amazing. But that's 7 years ago, 2013. This season already, they've allowed more points and net passing yards in 8 games than they allowed that whole season. It's nothing to do with Russell Wilson. It's the fact that they've never rebuilt the defense that was that good. So he's having to work a lot harder to keep the team competitive. And you will have games like last week where you throw picks and things just don't work out. That's just natural. We've seen the same in years with Aaron Rodgers when he's overcompensating for poor defences in Green Bay.
And it's not poor defences. The O-line is just toilet. And
the most valuable player in the league is not somebody who throws 7 interceptions in 5 games.
I don't entirely disagree with you, so I cannot force the point, but I do think people get voted as MVP based often on what the team is doing as well, and the team is doing nothing. It's all Russell Wilson.
Yeah. No, I think it might be his year because the defense is awful, but the offense is all him.
So he's thrown more interceptions in the last 5 games than the last MVP last season did all season.
Yeah, but the last MVP doesn't like to throw the ball.
Okay, cool. Well,
this is an argument we'll have over the weeks, but yeah, Steelers at home against the Bengals.
So we can move on from this game then.
Yep. Yeah.
It's going to be a really disappointing game because the Steelers will play down again like they did last week. But ultimately, the Bengals aren't winning this game. Joe Burrow has been brilliant, but the rest of the team goes as he goes, and he'll just be under too much pressure. They'll put up points, no problem, because their wide receiver, Tyler Boyd, excellent. Auden Tate has been in and out, but good when he's played. I'm missing one. T. Higgins has been excellent as a rookie. AJ Green has had 2 good games all season. But those 4 will put up points against this Pittsburgh secondary. But up front, that O-line has had 9 or 10 players already this season. Yeah. Not a chance. Not a chance. He'll get sacked half a dozen times at least.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. They'll lose by about 4 points against a Pittsburgh offense that will just infuriate me, I'm sure. But yeah, I think the Steelers will win. Paul?
Steelers all right.
Yeah. Okay. 49ers traveling to New Orleans. So Saints 49ers. I'm going to go Saints just because 49ers are still really quite beat up. But yeah, it's just a shame that I had high hopes that the 49ers after last year. I thought they'd hit this season hard, but they've not been able to because half the teams. I think it's $60 million they've got, $60 million they've got on the injured reserve list, highest ever.
The 49ers are still a halfway decent team. There's no doubt about it. But after last week's result, I think the Saints will be on such a high that it could become borderline embarrassing for a bit, and then they'll take their foot off the gas because they don't need to go. But Kamara is the only running back in the Super Bowl era with a career average of 100 scrimmage yards and 6 yards per touch.
He's incredible.
And the Niners are really good against running backs, but if you're stopping him, you're just letting Drew Brees play elsewhere. The stories of Drew Brees' demise have just not played out, and I won't have it. And I think we're slowly starting to see Taysom Hill play well again this season. Gary alluded to that on the podcast last week, that they're using him properly. I think it could be close by halftime, and then the Saints pull away, and then there's too much to do in the final quarter for an injury-ridden team.
Yeah. Paul?
To be honest with you, I find it hard to disagree with Griff.
It is. Yeah. The Saints have,
You teach my ex-wife to do that.
Michael Thomas has come in. He's back. He's showing no signs of wanting to get away. Still, he's fine, and that's not good for the rest of the NFL.
Yeah, they let him practice a slant route in training, and he can run a slant route. So that's all he needs to do.
Yeah.
Do
that
14 times now.
Do it 14 times a game. Fine. Okay. Baltimore Ravens going to New England.
Of course, it's going to be a short analysis as well.
Yeah.
The Patriots are going to get destroyed in this one. After this game, they've got half a dozen winnable matchups, but this is a horrendous matchup for the Patriots. There's nothing about the defence that makes you think they could stop Jackson. They couldn't barely stop him when they were fully functional and fully fit. There's nothing that makes you think they can win this game. And more importantly, this Ravens defence, which has come under fire at times this season, they're going to want to annihilate Cam Newton. And I think they could properly shut him down. And this could be easily a 12 to 15 point game for the Ravens.
To quote Madden, Calais Campbell is going to wreak havoc with his incredible length.
Yeah, I think the Ravens win. And I think they need it because Lamar's not looked great for a few weeks now. So I think he needs a good game.
Don't forget, Cam Newton's only thrown 2 touchdowns this season.
Yeah.
I think he's run for 5 or 6, but he's only thrown 2 touchdowns. We're in week 10.
Well, yeah, you ain't got a tight end. Otherwise, he's just going to overthrow people, isn't he?
Pretty much. You
need a 6'6" tight end to help you just don't have it.
This one could be embarrassing.
Yeah.
It is what it is. This is where the Patriots are. Like I say, after this game, the stretch isn't too bad, but this one could be the real nail in. There's people claiming this week that at 3 and 5, they're still just about in the playoff hunt because of the 7th place for the playoffs.
Oh, yes.
This is the nail in the coffin this week. It's game over.
Yeah, Paul?
The Ravens are going to wipe the floor with them, let's be fair.
Yeah. Okay, and finally, Monday night or Tuesday morning for us, Bears host Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins in prime time.
No one's picking Kirk in this, are they?
I am.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you picking Kirk or are you picking Dalvin Cook?
You know how, like in Seattle, it's let Russ cook?
Yeah.
I like how it's just more directive in Minnesota. Kirk, cook.
Yeah.
Just let cook, basically.
Yeah.
Basically, the coaching before
cook.
the game is Kirk, don't get in the way.
Yeah.
Just don't get in the way. I'm surprised they haven't started direct slapping it to Dalvin Cook yet.
They just misunderstood it. That sounds a really great idea what they're doing. Yeah, Kirk let cook.
Yeah. They should go wildcat, and instead of just having another blocker, just another fat guy to run and block out of the way, because that is what they want to do anyway.
Are you vying for a job?
Yeah.
So you're saying you want to be the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings?
I want to be. Yes.
Do you want to be the quarter block?
The quarter block, yeah.
Nice. If ever there was a new nickname, that's it. You are the quarter block.
But yeah, I'm going to go with the Vikings, but only because I don't trust Nick at Chicago.
Big Dick Nick. Look, this game's built for Nick. It's prime time. We all know what Nick Foles is capable of in the big games. More importantly, let's not forget what Kirk Cousins is not capable of. Most losses on Monday Night Football without a win since 2000 with 9. There's a very good chance the Vikings will win because of Dalvin Cook. That's fine. But there's nothing besides that tells you they're going to win. And I think Bears defense has a halfway decent game. Nick Foles probably could outplay Kirk Cousins in this because he doesn't get affected by the big games. It's just Nick Foles is just not really affected by anything. You just get the same player. And I can see it happening. I don't know who's going to be playing at running back for the Bears this week because Montgomery's in the concussion protocol. And last week, when he went out of the game, they played some guy even the commentators hadn't heard of. And I can't even remember his name. It began with an N. And that's a concern because they need their running. Even though their running game hasn't been good, Nick Foles needs a running game to do play action off of because that's all he's good at. But just look at the wide receivers. Thielen is not great this season. And the Bears have only allowed one top 20 fantasy wide receiver all season, I think it is. So I think this could be one of those games where bearing in mind how bad the Vikings defense is as well, that the Bears defense could do enough, and Nick Foles might just sneakily outperform Kirk Cousins here. So I'm backing the Bears.
It's Knoll, the running back.
Yeah, that's
Ryan Knoll.
See, I told you it began with an N.
Yeah. I'm just going for Vikings. Just. And Paul.
I think I'd like the Vikings to win, but I'm going to go the Vikings. The Vikings will win.
That's cool. Well, that is all the games. So I'll tally them up, and we'll come back next week. We'll see how we did. And
I lost. Shocker.
Yeah. And we'll see who's winning, and we'll go from there. But thanks for joining us. Enjoy the week, because you've got Titans Colts coming up very soon. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you on Tuesday.